I mean, if you're a Bears fan, you're thinking forward progress. Come on.
10, 219, 219.
Forward Progress, a Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.
Welcome to a live Forward Progress. Thank you for joining us. We were just sitting here going through our regular planning for our Bears show and NFL show and going through the various topics. And then the news crosses that the Chicago Bears are trading wide receiver DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills, and that will bring his 3-year Bears tenure to a conclusion. This has been reported by both ESPN and NFL Network. DJ Moore, 28 years old. As a Bear, here are his totals: 50 catches, 682 yards, and 6 touchdowns in 2025. In those 3 seasons total, 3,012 yards, 20 touchdowns, 244 receptions in his 51 games that he played. He had signed a 4-year, $110 million extension 2 years ago, and he had 2 years remaining on that deal, so that extension was going to hit the books. He was due to cost against the cap $28.5 million. So this frees up, according to most reports, as I have it, correct me if I'm wrong, it'll save the Bears about $16.5 million against the cap. And it's just amazing how far this team has come from the moment they got him. And it seemed like this was just going to be an anchor, the go-to guy in this offense as it became what it was going to become. How fast his role is this easily handed off to be divided among others.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. And, not surprised. Obviously, we've talked about this. Our guy, Frank, says the net savings was definitely involved in this one for sure.
Already, yes.
We talked about the possibility of this happening, not only for a salary dump and to free up some cap within the salary cap, some space in the salary cap, but there's a lot of questions about his performance. Now, I know he was involved in some of the greatest plays the Chicago Bears have ever witnessed. We saw those with our own eyes this past season, yet there was the question marks about his effort and taking plays off and not fully running out routes. And there really was no answers given to, in particular, what happened in that Rams game in the playoffs on that route that he just seemed to give up on. That was an interception. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by this. We kind of see it falling into place as the Buffalo Bills have either released or going to release Stephon Diggs. Mm-hmm. So now the Bears get the free up cap space. And does this coincide with what we talked about earlier today on BBU?
I was just thinking that.
Your guy, Tyler Linderbaum.
Does this mean you've got Tyler Linderbaum walking around money here? Hey, Tyler, look what we found. Look what we found. Why don't you, pick up maybe it's worth another call to the agent. Hey, remember what we were talking about before when you said that we had to find some, I don't know what happened, but we just freed up a little bit of money here. So
yeah,
whether or not
what we talked about earlier with that article that you read, that Tyler Linderbaum could be north of $20 million per, and if
likely will be, yes.
Likely will be. And the speculation from the former agent that you quoted,
Joel Corey,
said $23.5 million per.
Mm-hmm. He said would be, if he were representing him, that would be his expectation.
And so, an hour ago, we talked about that and said, well, that's not going to happen for the Bears. That's too pricey. 23.5, 22 million a year, 24 million. That's too much. Now, things might look a little bit different by freeing up all that space with the trade of DJ Moore. So DJ Moore traded to the Buffalo Bills, and everything I've read so far says a mid-round pick in return. So if that's 3, 4, 5, where are we at with your thoughts on that? Which is exactly what I thought we would do.
Yeah, we spent some time discussing that recently, and this is primarily a salary move, and you are not expecting to get the return value in the way we think about what value is because of this deal and because of it. We're going to find out exactly who will end up paying what as far as the cash side of it.
And here's the thing too, Dan, we'll just add this to the list because we've talked about this all of 2025. It's so nice. It's refreshing for us as Bears fans to not be crazy anymore, because what we see with our eyes, we saw the general manager, the head coach, the coaching staff were seeing the same things for the first time in a long, long time in this town. We were aligned, if I want to borrow their terminology, we were on the same page. This tells me the Bears and their leadership saw the same things that we saw with DJ Moore. A lot of talent, a valuable guy, but not a number one guy worth $28 million per year with the effort that you see in games, from one game to the next, from one play to the next. They saw the same things that we saw as Bears fans.
A lot of things can be true here. And I do think that it's going to be important how the Bears handle this on the way out. And let me be really clear about this. We can talk about some of the rumblings underneath because we've seen it.
Sure.
And for us to be straight up and say, when you got DJ Moore, you got all the good and you got some of the question marks too. And you said this guy made Bears history. This guy was, the acquisition mattered at the time, his performance mattered, his contribution, and he's got all-time great Bears moments. That full stop. The team should avoid entirely engaging in any kind of after-the-fact back-channel muttering about this. This is what I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear any whisper campaign of, we kind of had to move him because I don't know if he and Caleb ever saw eye to eye, or we were worried there were some plays where maybe we weren't getting the most out of him, or he was one of these palms up guys, because we'll remember that. We'll remember that he admitted it, that when Ben Johnson took over, Ben Johnson pulled him aside and said, your body language sucks. And you have to set an example for us, and you have to stop being what he calls a palms up guy. I don't know, woe is me, what keeps happening to us. And to DJ's credit, he was open about that. DJ's been available after wins and losses. He has been open and honest. I have nothing bad to say about him as a Bear. Nothing, only good. Even though no player's perfect, and we can observe the things that maybe were question marks in his game. But the Bears have to take the absolute high road on this 100%.
No, you're 100% correct.
And I think
you're
they
correct
will.
about that.
And that's my expectation. I expect absolutely nothing but the high road here, because you're right. When you are this serious a team, and when you're making a move like this to try to win Super Bowls, and that's what this is. This is the move that you make, not to just placate fans, not to worry fans who bought their DJ Moore jerseys that are on sale at Dick's Sporting Goods and all that stuff. This is the tough kind of call that you make when you're trying to win Super Bowls.
No, you're correct. And the way the Bears should approach it and will approach it is exactly how you said, because they gain nothing from doing that. We can do that as fans.
And we will, and that's our job.
And it's there, and it's our job to do that, and to do that on this particular program. But the Bears don't need to do that. It benefits them nothing. But it's very clear. That guy should have never been your highest paid player on your team. And I know Caleb Williams eventually will be, but DJ Moore should not have been. He did not put enough production out there, regardless of all the great plays that he made, because he did make some great plays. And I'm going to remember the good things about DJ Moore. I will never forget, though, when I realized this past season that this was the first time he was ever on a winning team, which is just crazy. Crazy to me. It had nothing to do against him. I'm not saying that, all teams lose with DJ Moore. It just, he's a world-class talent and has great hands. He just wasn't there all the time.
Well, let's look at the room right now. As it stands at the moment, your wide receiver room for the Chicago Bears is, in no particular order, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, Olamide Zaccheaus, Devin Duvernay, and Jade Walker.
All right, Duvernay and OZ, will they be free agents next Wednesday? They're not under contract, are they? I'd have to take a look.
They are currently.
Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I thought they were done. I thought your wide receiver room was Walker, Luther, and Rome.
Yeah, well, these names are in green, and that means they are UFAs. They are unrestricted free agents in Zaccheaus and Duvernay. My guess is I don't know if now you can rethink punt returner, kick returner, And as you are remodeling this room, what that's going to open up for some of the possibilities draft-wise and free agent-wise. My guess is it's usually a nice position where you've got a pretty good handle free agent-wise on what's out there and who's a good fit. And I would love to improve the kick return game and make it more explosive. I know Duvernay was reliable as a fielder of kicks and decision maker and hit a couple big ones. I'd like to make that more explosive.
Yeah, I agree. And that possibility is out there, and we'll see how they do address that. I would likely think they look at that as a lower tier free agent spend or through the draft to build up that room. I love that they're building a young wide receiver room. I love it. I love that it's a young wide receiver room right now. I don't anticipate them spending a lot of money on a free agent to bring in a veteran wide receiver. That's going to be, again, a lower tier guy or through the draft. But I love the idea of going out and getting a young center in your guy Linderbaum. If that's the move, if that's what corresponds to what dumping DJ Moore's salary is all about, getting that guy to grow with Caleb Williams and a young wide receiver room to grow with that quarterback.
We should also mention a couple other names. There's no practice squad that exists at the moment because of where we are in the league year. But what represents that are the players signed to reserve futures contracts. And there's two names that appeared at various times on the back end of the roster last year, those being Maurice Alexander and J.P. Richardson. So those are some names to keep in mind also. And the fact that Colston Loveland should be looked at when it comes to deployment, targets, usage, essentially as a wide receiver, despite the fact that he's listed as a tight end.
Yeah, agreed, which is why I also don't anticipate anything happening with Cole Kmet, but I could be wrong on that. I think Cole Kmet's there because you need him more as part of an extension of blocking and the occasional, catching. But that's why you have Loveland there for. But I think Cole Kmet's not going to, because we talked about Cole Kmet. Does anything happen with him to make a move for salary relief as well, too? But I don't anticipate that happening.
They've got something in mind. A move like this is made to make another move. When we say, gee, what's the corresponding move? What's going to happen next? They're way ahead of us. Those negotiations have already begun. It is possible, and I know I played this out just sort of for fun, but it is possible that there are deals out there that agents are, even though we're not in the official tampering period yet, there are ways of getting understandings from agents about what certain numbers are going to be, what it's going to take, what the estimations are for ballparks. And it may just be not just to say, hey, let's get as much cap space as we can and then figure out what to do. They're into specifics, saying that we're going to need this amount of money to sign this guy. We just don't know who those guys are yet.
Yeah, I wonder if it will be your guy, Linderbaum.
Could be. It's exciting to think.
We talked about that yesterday with Carmen Vitale here on Forward Progress, and I asked the question, do you want to go veteran guy center and rookie draft pick left tackle, or veteran left tackle, rookie center? And without a doubt, it was like bring in that experienced veteran guy at center, and then you can work with someone through the draft at left tackle, or, work with Theo Benedict to see if that's a possibility to coach him up. Now, if you were to go that free agent route with Linderbaum, yeah, it's going to cost you a lot of money, but this is, like I said, this is the move you make to free up that kind of money because those talks have already started taking place.
Well, and the other thing that's really exciting about this for those of us who have been urging more Luther Burden, get him more involved every time he touches the ball. It isn't just your eye test. There are metrics that show how he affects games in an outsized way when he touches the ball. They know it. They see it. They're watching the same games we're watching. And if I don't know if there are fantasy futures that you can start betting on guys, but Luther Burden is in position, if he's healthy, to have himself a breakout Bears season.
Trying to find here, I think starting to see maybe 4th round pick.
Okay.
For DJ Moore. Now, we were just told initially it's a mid-round pick.
Yes. It may be conditional. You had absolutely, and look at this. It may just be that what we speculated came true, that the retirement of Dahlman, whether or not it's directly to replace Dahlman, but just changing the math in that regard forced this deal.
Yeah.
That this absolutely, the maintenance and retention of salary cap flexibility became paramount in a way where it hadn't hit home quite the same way before.
Yeah, where a casualty of the Dahlman retirement was forcing of this trade.
Could be.
It's very possible. Very possible. So, I'd like to think that with the news of Dahlman, they make this move to answer that question of who will be the center through free agency. And, Tyler Linderbaum would be a great answer to that. Now it goes to another question, and we talked about this earlier as well too, that the odds-on favorite that you keep seeing is Max Crosby going to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to see the Bears trade that draft capital now to bring in a veteran, experienced edge rusher in Max Crosby? Are you willing to part with a couple first-round picks or a first-round pick and a third-round pick and a pick next year to bring in Max Crosby?
It seems to be two firsts but somebody else would have to engage to that.
Because what was Parsons? Parsons was two firsts, right?
And
two firsts
and Kenny Clark.
Yeah, and a player and a body, right?
Yeah. So, that's a big number for one dude who could be hurt in the first week. The same thing that they experienced with Parsons. I just worry about a 30-year-old player and downside risk and injury risk. And I love those picks, man.
Yeah, I do too.
And I trust the people making the picks in a way that I didn't before.
That you never have before. And
right.
Did you see the story from Michael Silver about Max Crosby? One of the issues that the previous Raiders head coaches all had with Max Crosby, and it wasn't just Antonio Pierce, and it wasn't just Pete Carroll, and who was there after John Gruden? I can't remember. Wasn't there another guy after Gruden? But anyway, whoever it was, Michael Silver wrote that the head coaches had an issue with Max Crosby in practice hitting the guy in the red jersey.
Merchandise gonna get touched.
But you're not supposed to hit the quarterback, and he kept hitting the quarterback. And I guess his response in the story that Silver wrote was, well, if you don't want me to hit the quarterback, then block me. Which, I don't know, he kind of echoed it as kind of a rogue kind of player, not listening to the coaches, doing his own thing. I don't know if that's an accurate portrayal of who he is, but if he's going through a practice hitting the quarterback and just saying, if this is true, well, then someone should block me, that's kind of shitty. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Wasn't it James Harrison on the Bengals on Hard Knocks when he was hitting AJ Green? Is that who it was? No, it wasn't. I think that's who it was. And it was Jay Gruden came up to him and was like, "Hey, don't touch the merchandise." And he looked right at him. He goes, "Merchandise gonna get touched."
Well, it's funny when it's a different team, but I don't want my guy hitting Caleb Williams for no fucking reason.
And the cameras are right there, and Jake Gruden was like,
yeah. Then he just walked away with his tail between his legs.
What do you say to James Harrison? The guy's going to eat your head.
Well,
don't do that. He's going to do horrible things to you. That is a serious man out there. I don't like hearing that about Crosby, or maybe it's one of these apocryphal things that now is because a lot of the stuff now people are messing with trade values and they want to put stuff out of the ether to get it repeated. So I don't know what I generally don't believe stuff like that. But Michael Silver is generally not one of those people to do stuff like that. He's a little more trustworthy than most.
All right, let me ask you this: on the heels of the Bears trading DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills, let me ask you a few different questions about some possible scenarios for this Bears offseason. What do you think is more likely to happen of all these different scenarios? What's more likely to happen? The Bears repeat draft class success like they had in 2025. Okay, that's one option.
Okay.
Another option is the Bears are able to coach up the guys in their building to be successful. And by that I mean Theo Benedict, Luke Newman at center, at left tackle.
Okay.
That's a second option. A third scenario could be trade away draft capital for Max Crosby, and he ends up being in the top 3 edge rushers in the league. from a production standpoint. A fourth scenario is you sacrifice other needs and you sign a center or an edge rusher that end up being top 3 in their position.
If you could guarantee me a top 3 center at their position, I'm taking it.
And you're taking Tyler.
I think that's
Linderbaum.
Yeah. Whatever by that scenario, I am taking if you're saying actually a top 3 center.
So center X, let's just say center X. Sure. We will unnamed
center X and you guarantee that person is healthy.
Yes. They play all 17 regular season games. Now let's say that you sign that center and I know I'm not saying that PFF is, end all be all of things, but they graded out Drew Dalman last year as the 8th best center in the game.
You're telling me this year you get the 3rd?
Let's say you sign a guy, you sign center X, and he ends up being a top 5 center. Are you still making that commitment?
Yes.
Let's say he's a top 8 center, and he gives you the same production you saw from Drew Dalman.
If I'm guaranteed a top 8 center, because I think some of that stuff is a little, if you're guaranteeing me that I've got somebody
17 games, a guy that grades out top 8.
I think I can't be the same person that has talked about the importance of the center position in the modern NFL and in a Ben Johnson offense and not say yes to that.
Yeah, I agree because as I'm thinking through it, I think if I'm guaranteed
feel free
a top
to disagree. I might be crazy.
Oh, I don't. No. Because here's my thought. If I'm guaranteed top 8, say he performs top 8 as a center, and it's a big money commitment on my end, and I know I get 17 games and he's there, I take that with a slight pause. If I say top 5, I do it. If I say top 3, I can't get it done fast enough.
Well, okay, so let me argue against my point.
Yeah.
And if I were arguing the other side of it, I would say that all in is all in. And trusting the Bears development staff to say, trusting this coaching staff in their anticipation of future use and deployment growth, et cetera, and our trust level is that high. Somebody could accuse me of saying, pick a lane. Then picks should have less value if they think they're closer than we may think they are to winning a Super Bowl. And it may just be that they sat around and they're like, you know what, we could have won the Super Bowl this year. We did a whole show on it where they said, that could have been us. Maybe Seattle would have beaten us 9 times out of 10, but that could have been the one. And next year, maybe it's 5 out of 10. That this was the year that proved how close the Bears are. And maybe if the response is, fuck it, we're right there. And they do that. And they first round picks are for rebuilding teams. We're not rebuilding anymore. We're plugging in. Our team is on the field for the most part. We've got our guys. I don't think that's an unreasonable position. Just because remember, I'm much, much, much more conservative about some of those things because I worry easily. I don't have the risk tolerance that others have. Mm-hmm. And that's probably what look, every billionaire has a higher risk tolerance than I do. Because they can deal with they're gamblers. They can deal with risking so many things. I'm bad at that. And I admit to being bad at that. So if you're saying, you know what? Who cares about these first round picks that could end up being anything or these lottery tickets or whatever? That they've got enough. God damn it, go for it. And that's okay.
It is okay. And I don't know how this would work out salary wise, but just because let's say they go out and let's put names on it. That they go out and they sign Tyler
Linderbaum.
At center. They bring him in, big money. Let's say it's $23.5 million per year. I don't know how it affects the salary cap. Let's say that you can still trade away draft capital to bring in a guy like Max Crosby. You can do both. Now, I don't know what that does to your salary cap. I don't know what it does to the future. I don't know what it does to signing more guys this year. But just because you do one doesn't mean you can't do the other.
Right.
Now, are you more confident in Linderbaum coming in at a big price tag? Are you more confident in his success than Max Crosby coming in and being as productive a player on the defensive side of the football while giving up 2 first-round picks at a minimum?
It's hard to compare because
yes, it is.
An offensive lineman is in is in more control, perhaps, because of what he can do that matters before the play even starts. There's so much value. You know, I understand a pass rusher, you are lined up, you got smoke coming out of your nose, and go kill the quarterback.
Right.
And on the way to the quarterback, if there's another guy in front of you with the ball, take the ball from him and score. Jump up in the air if you don't get there. I understand, but a center who's really, really good it's part of your quarterbacking system. It's part of everything. It's the fulcrum of your blocking. It is the person in charge of identifying your front, identifying the mic, and then understanding which way the protection is going. All of that value, some of that doesn't show up in these PFF rankings. It's impossible to quantify some of that ability, that if it's a fourth quarter and the wind is whipping around and you're down 4 and there's 37 seconds left and you got the ball in your own 41 and the quarterback is in a better position to go win that game because you're there instead of somebody else. I don't know how to measure that, but I know it matters to me.
Yeah. So for me, if I'm looking at both scenarios, and I'm only picking one because I'm not doing both. I don't want to sign Linderbaum to a huge deal and then trade draft capital to bring in Max Crosby. I'd rather sign Linderbaum because I'm more confident in his success for years to come than I am in Max Crosby for years to come.
Well, and the other thing I don't want to do, it's draft capital or money.
Money, not both.
Right.
Not both. No, I 100% agree with you. Yes.
The resources, you don't double down on your costs.
Right.
You can, and that's one thing where a draft pick is just a draft pick, and you use that draft pick. Where you get yourself in trouble, and where the go for it gets you in trouble, is giving up a bunch of draft picks and committing a ton of money.
Spending a ton of money.
For somebody who's 30 years old.
I am all about spending the money on Linderbaum at center and then using my draft picks to build up the rest of my team. Whether that's left tackle, defensive line, safety, that's what I'm all about. Using those resources to trust your coaching staff, to coach up guys you bring in, like what happened last year in 2025. One of the best draft classes in football.
All right, wait a second. Here's the latest. Diana Rossini.
Okay.
The Bears are sending DJ Moore and a 5 to Buffalo for a 2.
Wow.
Yeah. Now that changes things a little bit.
DJ Moore and a 5 for a 2?
For a 2.
Whew.
Okay. That's pretty damn good. That's better than I thought they were going to get. I did not think they were going to end up with another 2. Okay. This one's hard to argue with. I don't know if there's some sort of
there was no argument to begin with.
Yeah,
I mean, even DJ Moore to get a 3 or a 4. I'm not upset about that because again, there was the salary cap implication that was behind it. That was the lead to it. Now you're adding a 5th round pick going to Buffalo to get a 2. So now are the Bears building draft capital to move up?
I don't know.
Is that something to trade?
I don't know.
As far as for a body is concerned, I want to see them keep these draft picks, Dan. If you just added a 2nd round pick, now you have 3 picks in the top 64. I'm in.
Okay.
I want those picks. I want to spend the money on center, and I want those picks, and I want a left tackle. I'm still not getting off left tackle.
Don't.
I want a left tackle. Don't tell me you're going to coach guys up. You got guys in the building. I don't want those guys. I want a guy. You told me last year in the Rams game that you didn't have a left tackle in your building.
And you moved your guard
get
out
one.
there. Yep.
Go get a left tackle. Coach that guy up. Build that guy up. And then give me that star center with money. Use the draft picks.
Yep, it's official now. Adam Schefter has it. Adam Schefter has it that Buffalo gets DJ Moore and a 2026 5th round pick. Chicago gets a 2026 2nd round pick. Damn. All right, this will become official on March 11th, but this is a done deal.
Wow. All right, Bears fans. So the Bears send DJ Moore and a 5th round pick to Buffalo for a 2nd round draft pick.
Woo-hoo, okay.
Okay, so it's interesting, Dan. You talked about, fuck it, go for it. These are just draft picks. Fuck it, go for it. You're right there. So what team has employed that philosophy for the last several years? The Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, famously Les Snead and Sean McVay.
Let's fuck it. So here's what they did. I looked real quick at this, and this is super interesting, Dan. So in 2016 is when it all began. That was before McVay got there, but that was when they traded away. They traded up to get Jared Goff. So they traded away picks to get Jared Goff. So listen to this. In 9 seasons, they have used 1 first-round pick with Sean McVay. In 9 seasons, 1 first-round pick. They've gone to the playoffs 7 times, the Super Bowl twice. They've won 1. They've had 2 seasons of those 9 with less than 10 wins. They had a 9-win season and a 5-win season.
Mm-hmm.
But they've had 7 seasons of 10-plus wins, gone to the playoffs 7 times, the Super Bowl twice. They've won 1 Super Bowl. So in 2016, they traded with the Titans. They gave the Titans 15, 43, 45, 76, a first-round pick in 17, and a third-round pick in 17, to which they got Jared Goff, number 1. They also got the 113th pick in 2016, which they traded that to the Bears. So they even took that pick and traded to get more picks, and the Bears took Nick Kwiatkowski with that. Right. They also took 177. They took Tamarick Hemingway, a tight end. And then with those 2 picks they got from the Bears, they drafted Pharaoh Cooper and Mike Thomas, guys that didn't turn out to much of anything. Now, the Titans, they took that number 15, and they traded that and number 76 to Cleveland. They moved up to 8, and they got Jack Conklin. And then with 43, they drafted Austin Johnson. With 45, the Titans drafted Derrick Henry. So in 2017, the Rams didn't have a first-round pick. In 2018, they traded number 23 and a 6th-round pick to New England for Brandon Cooks. That 4th-round pick, they traded that down to get more picks. They traded that to Carolina and got 2 more late-round picks. In 2019, they traded number 31 and number 203 overall to Atlanta for number 45 and number 79.
And they're still good.
They took that number 45, They traded that to New England, and they got picks number 56 and 101. They continually trade down to add picks. In 2020, they traded the number 20 overall pick to the Jaguars for Jalen Ramsey. Also traded their 2021 first-round pick. So they didn't have a pick in 21 either. And in 2022, they traded it to Detroit for Matthew Stafford to get Jared Goff. The Lions then used their picks to move up and get Jamison Williams. 2024 is their only pick they made, which was Jared Verse. And then 2025, they traded last year number 26 to Atlanta, and Atlanta took Terrence Ferguson. So again, 9 seasons, they've used 1 draft pick. They've had seven playoff appearances. They've won the Super Bowl twice. They've won 1.
What is that? Again, if you have the coach and you have the quarterback, you can figure things out in other ways.
Yes.
If you have the coach and you have the quarterback.
Now, saying all that, I'm not saying that that's what I want the Bears to do. I'm not advocating for the Bears to trade these picks. I want them to use these picks. I want to see what they can do for a second season with bringing in a rookie draft class. What can they do with the picks this year? Now, is it likely that you're going to see as much success that you take rookies and bring them in and they end up being the best rookies at their positions? It's most likely not going to happen, but I want to see what they can do on the defensive side of the football. I want to see what they can do in drafting a left tackle.
Well, you also have your top defensive draft pick who didn't play last year coming back.
Right. In Shamar
Turner.
Correct. And again, we've said this, you're adding by subtracting Andrew Billings on the defensive line as well, too.
There's this tweet by Albert Breer. Albert Breer says, meanwhile, the Bears have cleared a bunch of cap room this week. With Drew Dahlman retiring and DJ Moore traded, we'd mentioned earlier that they've shown some interest in Tyler Linderbaum and Max Crosby. Stay tuned.
Yeah, just because you do one doesn't mean you can't do both. I don't want to do both. And maybe I'm an idiot, and maybe there are, people in our community here are saying that's stupid. If you can get both guys and go for a Super Bowl this year. I think if you add Tyler Linderbaum at center and you add at left tackle and then you add other defensive pieces that you need and re-sign guys that you need to re-sign or sign free agents on the defensive side of the football, I think the Bears can still compete for a Super Bowl this year without Max Crosby. That's the point.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't think there's any question.
So I don't want to trade all that capital and spend all that money when I think I can still do it by just spending the money.
Well, let's just see here. This becomes really, really interesting now, but I love the idea that we're not just sort of whistling in the wind here, that there are moves that we can clearly see should be made to try to get the Bears to the next level, and they're doing it, and they're not waiting around. These are decisive moves, and they end up with a second. That is that's a hell of a return. So all good, I think. I think that for something that we thought could happen and maybe thought would happen, for it to even end up being surprisingly positive, I think it's a good sign. I think it's really important now how they handle themselves in the wake of this departure. I will remember DJ Moore not only as the guy that makes the catch in one of the biggest games of the last 20 years or more, but is then on the post-game show wearing the cheese grater hat, grating cheese.
Yeah, for sure. I know as we have, we went special live here, which is great. So thanks for being a part of our live stream right now. See all the people in, all the comments. So we do appreciate that. When there is breaking news, we do go live. Of course, during the season, we go live after every game. So we do live post-game shows, which were a lot of fun last year. So keep that in mind as you look forward to the 2026 season. I don't want to just end yet, though, because I know there was a couple other things. There was one other thing I wanted to get to, and I know you wanted to get to Aaron Rodgers as well.
I just want to get to something Aaron Rodgers said.
Yeah, that's fine. No, let's do it. Yeah, we got people here. Let's do it.
All right. Well, Aaron Rodgers is now upset about living his life publicly. That Aaron Rodgers, it's all of the attention is bothering him. He doesn't want people paying attention to him. He was on with Pat McAfee yesterday, and the paparazzi are now bothering Aaron Rodgers. He says he can't live in his Malibu house on the beach. He can't go to his gym just because he says he's getting stalked, and we are not living at the beach anymore, flying drones over my house. There's a bounty on getting a picture of my wife. I understand the attention that comes with someone that's accomplished what I've accomplished. In no way am I making this a woe is me.
That's right, because the marriage thing was all secretive, and like we don't know who the wife is, although she's like some spiritualist or
it's not the witch.
It's not the witch. Oh, that's right, it's not the witch.
He
was dating her.
He was dating Blue of Earth, who was the witch.
You remember that?
But he moved on from Blue of Earth, and so he says when it comes to your personal safety, it's not just me; it's me and her. It's grammar's all over the place, and he says it's really fucking bizarre. Okay, he said when he's done with football, he's not going to be in the spotlight. We're not living a public life.
Good.
We're not going to go now, not in the future. But when this is done, it's Kaiser Soze, and you won't see me. That all that's known about Rodgers' wife, all that's known is her name is Brittany, Brittani.
Spears.
He said, when we met, I knew there was something crazy special, and I wanted to be with her. She'd make funny comments like I'd never live in Green Bay, and I don't want to be a player's wife. She's just not a public person. Okay. Aaron Rodgers, if he's promising that he's going to turn into Greta Garbo and wants to be alone, and away he's going to go, we'll never see him again. He's going to live that secretive private existence. And some people can do it. Some people are great. Gene Hackman sort of decided to do that when he retired from acting. Shelley Duvall did that. A lot of people do that. I will bet you he doesn't, and he has no desire to.
I guarantee 100%. 100%. And if you're just joining us here on our live stream on Forward Progress on 312 Sports, the Bears did trade DJ Moore and a 5th-round draft pick to the Buffalo Bills for a 2nd-round pick in exchange. And now that I see that 2nd-round pick on my notes here, Dan, I want those damn picks from Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, right. Give us the thirds now.
That's what I want.
Give us those 3rd-round picks. If we already got this second, just kind of say, hey, make another phone
now we have
call.
1
and
2
another
2s.
thing.
I want 3 3s. I want 5. I want 5 in the first 3 rounds.
I want
Give me
Ryan,
those picks, damn it.
Ryan Poles in his office in like workout shorts and a tank top, just picking up various phones. I want to tell him Buffalo, we're not doing this on a second-round pick. Fine. All right. Call the NFL. Get me the NFL. Get me those thirds, too, while we're at it.
Picking up phones that aren't even connected.
And my thirds are out, go directly to my fourths.
One other story I want to mention. I don't know if you saw this about Myles Garrett, who got his ninth speeding ticket since entering the league in 2017. Did you see this?
Yes, and I have an idea for this. We're going to have a race. Okay. Any kind of race that they want, it's going to be Myles Garrett and LaMelo Ball. Because you've heard the stories about LaMelo Ball and his various Lamborghinis and whatever he has, where he leaves the arena and doesn't care and like drives over people and things and animals and has no regard for stop signs or traffic lights or laws of any kind. So it is Myles Garrett versus LaMelo Ball. Pick the various events they can do.
Well, that's a different angle. He did get one ticket for going 100 and a 60. He was going 65 and a 45. That's when he flipped his car over. I was just going to take it in the way because I love watching the guy play. Stop driving and get a driver, or stop driving like an idiot, because I don't want you to die. Because that's how this story is going to end. Yeah. It's going to end one of those tragic things where it's like, after midnight, Myles Garrett flipped his car over because he was driving like an asshole, and that's it. Then he's gone. Like, don't do that. Like, I get it's fun to drive fast, but be smart. Like, yeah, the driving tickets clearly don't matter to you because you're famous. You're not going to lose your license, or you're going to just keep driving. It doesn't matter. You got money to get out of it. It's the flipping of the car and the dying of the thing that I don't want to see. That's
why you're wiser than I. I tried to make a joke about it, and I could have just said, "Well, I don't." And now you make me feel bad. And
I didn't want to make you feel bad.
I liked my idea.
Your idea was fine,
and okay, all right.
No, I don't mind your idea. Your idea is fine. Like, if it's a controlled course and there's no people and there's no fine, I can do that.
Yeah, if this is in his system, and look, I drive fast. I do not obey the actual speed limits. I'm always a little bit over unless there's a camera there, and I look at the speed cameras in Chicago as a personal affront to me.
Okay.
It is, and it's a tax basically that I pay, especially where I live. And
so how fast over the speed? Let's say you're in a 40. How fast are you going?
Which depends where we are. If it's Lakeshore Drive, dude. Okay,
that's like the Autobahn. Yeah, so that's like
dude. If Lakeshore Drive is technically 40, if you go 40, you're an asshole.
Right. So which is true. I when I have people in the car, I drive the speed limit.
Oh, different. I mean, not the actual speed limit. You go 5 miles an hour over or 10 over.
Maybe that's 5 at the most with people in the car. But if I'm alone, and depending on where I am at in town or whatnot, if I'm going through like downtown Libertyville on Milwaukee Avenue, I go the speed limit. But if I'm outside of that, I'm going 10 or 15 over if I'm by myself. People in the car, I always drive the speed limit.
Sometimes,
generally, I shoot for 83 Strangles. You're right. I generally strive for 83.
You get me on Lakeshore Drive and the right song comes on. Lately, it's been that. Have you heard that song by Rat Boys? They're a Chicago band, Rat Boys. Their song, it's I don't know what the title is.
Is it on the country station?
It is not.
Okay, then no.
But they've got a new song out, like a power pop song called "Going Anywhere That You're Going," whatever that is. That song with that refrain, it's great.
Yeah, and if you're driving on LSD and you get to go 70, then you're not driving when I'm driving on LSD because there's usually traffic.
Yeah, but you got to know how to manage some traffic sometimes.
Yeah, there's not the traffic, because sometimes when I've driven into the station, I've gone, where I get on Lakeshore Drive to come through, and it's a fucking parking lot. You're not going 70.
I never know, man. I got all kinds of tricks up my sleeve.
Well, if you're going 70, I don't know. I want to know what lane you're using.
I can show you all kinds of stuff.
Anyway, my point with Myles Garrett was just please stop.
Slow down.
I mean, I like watching you play football. Like, we don't need some tragic accident of Myles Garrett found dead after he flipped his car.
Hire a driver.
Stop driving like that, dude.
And same goes for LaMelo Ball while you're at it. That'll make me feel better. Hey,
okay,
LaMelo
stop
Ball,
driving like a moron. We'll set up a race.
Stop ignoring all the laws that exist in Charlotte. And when you leave the game, stop it at red lights.
We should set up. We can do like a 3-1-2 race. We can get Michael Jordan, his team involved, and because I think his driver is like winning everything in NASCAR apparently.
Oh, I thought you meant. I mean, any of us who've been on the Edens have seen the Jordan blow by before.
Oh, did I ever tell you about the time
I've had him? I had him almost. Jordan almost took my mirror off. Before.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Did I ever tell you when Steve Kerr's wife almost hit me at a Venture parking lot?
Margot?
Yeah. I was
She's
walking through the
lovely.
parking lot.
She would never do that on purpose.
Yeah, and the car, I mean, it stopped like inches from like taking my legs out.
I almost killed Jerry Krause.
With your car or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Driving back. Because he was in this, his big giant Cadillac, and he's got that weird hat on. And I was, doing what I usually do. And I'm just, trying to find my way to the front of the pack. As we get out of the yellow flag, and I'm, trying to maneuver my way, and I almost sent him off into off the road. That Cadillac horn.
Yes,
that weird sounding like harmonic horn. Like,
I like this. I like this comment here. Income-based ticketing. I like that.
Ooh, yeah, make it hurt.
I don't mind that at all. Yes,
make it hurt. Yeah, you can just look up somebody's most recent tax return, and then it generates a fine. Oh,
yeah. Shugo says, didn't end well for Hackman. You mentioned Gene Hackman going away privately.
Well, I mean, he was 100.
Was he that old? But it didn't end well, though.
Well, it doesn't end well for any of us. It always ends badly, but it was great for a while. When he was
it may not always end. It doesn't have to end badly. It ends. It always ends, but it doesn't necessarily have to end badly.
He took the off the grid thing kind of to an extreme.
Yeah,
like he didn't even have people doing wellness checks on him and his wife. I don't know if there were somebody like delivering Chipotle or something, but you got to have certain things.
All right, the Chicago Bears traded DJ Moore and a 5th-round draft pick to the Buffalo Bills.
All right,
in exchange for a 2nd-round pick in 2026.
Thank you for joining us here on a special live edition of Forward Progress. Bernstein, Abaticola, 312 Sports.
Yes, that is correct. 312
Sports. Man, you didn't have it loaded.
Because it's on a different screen. It's on a different screen.
Dude, I nailed that. I was right there.
You didn't nail shit because the outro, you didn't nail anything. You said some words. Danny talks. That's all you did. Shut your mouth. Bitch.
All right. Right. The better out.
Forward progress is stopped. 10, 2, 19,
what? Say it. Finish your sentence.
Shut your mouth, bitch.
Bye.
Forward Progress. A Chicago Bears podcast with Dan Bernstein and Matt Abaticola on 312 Sports.